They laughed when I told them I was quitting my job. They said I'd never make it, that I was too emotional, too naive, too small to build something that mattered. And maybe, at first, they were right. Because when you're standing at the bottom, with nothing but a dream and unpaid bills, belief feels like a luxury. My name is Ryan Carter, and 3 years ago, I walked away from a 6-figure job to build a startup nobody believed in. A business they said would collapse before the ink dried. But today, those same people who mocked me? They're standing in line, pitching for partnerships, desperate for a seat at my table. This isn't just a story about success. It's about the silence that follows laughter, and how every you can't can become the reason you do. 3 years ago, I sat in a grey cubicle, under a flickering fluorescent light that made everything, even my ambition, look tired. The walls were lined with motivational posters, all faded and ironic. Teamwork makes the dream work. But in that room, nobody dreamed. We just worked. Every morning felt like déjà vu, the same greetings, the same stale coffee, the same endless parade of emails about things that didn't matter. My boss called it stability. I called it slow death in a tie. I remember watching the clock more than my screen. Counting minutes, not meaning. It hit me one afternoon when I overheard 2 coworkers laughing about a new idea I had shared at a meeting. "Ryan's still chasing that startup fantasy," one of them said. The other replied, "He's a good guy, but not that kind of guy." Not that kind of guy. Those words followed me home like a shadow. That night, I couldn't sleep. I just sat in the dark, staring at my reflection on the black screen of my laptop. I didn't see a failure. I saw someone suffocating under someone else's definition of success. So the next morning, I made a decision. No big announcement. No grand gesture. Just a quiet rebellion. I cleared my desk, sent one last email, "Thank you for the opportunity," and walked out with a single box of my things. No applause. No cameras. Just the sound of my own heartbeat saying, "Finally." My idea was simple, but to me, it felt revolutionary. A platform that connected small, independent creators directly to paying clients. No middlemen. No corporate control. No creative compromise. I called it CraftLink because I believed that creativity deserved a link to opportunity, not exploitation. The moment I told people about it, the laughter began. It's been done before. Do you even know how hard tech startups are? You're just a guy with an idea, not a CEO. But what they didn't understand was that failure wasn't my fear. Mediocrity was. The thought of living an entire life safe but unfulfilled scared me more than losing everything. So I jumped in headfirst. My days blurred into nights. I coded, I learned, I pitched, I failed, I tried again. I lived on ramen noodles and instant coffee. My apartment became both office and dream factory. The walls were covered with sticky notes, goals, sketches, deadlines, words of motivation. Sometimes, I'd catch my reflection in the dark window and whisper, "You started this. You can finish it." There were no investors. No fancy board meetings. Just me, my old laptop, and a heart full of stubborn belief. But in those quiet, lonely hours, when the world slept and I kept going, I started to realize something. Dreams aren't built in daylight. They're built in the dark, by people crazy enough to believe the light will come. And I was just crazy enough to keep believing. The first 6 months were brutal. No traction. No sign-ups. No revenue. Every morning, I'd refresh the analytics dashboard like a ritual, praying for even one new user. But the numbers didn't move. Just a cold, stubborn zero staring back at me. I tried everything. Social media ads, cold emails, walking into local shops with a smile and a pitch. But doors didn't just close. They slammed. I remember one investor meeting, a sleek office, glass walls, the kind of place that smells like money and indifference. I showed him my deck, my prototype, my heart on a slideshow. He leaned back, smirked, and said, "You're just another dreamer trying to play CEO. Go get a real job." It crushed me, not because of his words, but because a small part of me believed him. That night, I sat on the floor of my apartment surrounded by empty coffee cups and unpaid bills. The air was thick with silence and self-doubt. I looked around and thought, maybe they're right. Maybe I'm the joke they think I am. But the thing about rock bottom? It's solid. You can build from there. So I got up. One more email. One more call. One more pitch. Even when my voice cracked. Even when no one answered. Then, one morning, it happened. A notification blinked on my screen. New order. Custom illustration by Maya Alvarez. She was a local artist, shy, talented, and almost ready to give up herself. She had posted her first design on CraftLink 2 days earlier. I still remember her message. I've been trying for years to get people to notice me. Your site, it worked. She sold her first custom design that day. It wasn't a $1 million deal. It was $35. But it meant everything. I just sat there, staring at the screen, smiling through tears I didn't expect. Because that sale wasn't just proof of concept. It was proof of purpose. That was the first spark, the moment I realized CraftLink wasn't just a startup. It was a bridge. And I was building it, one creator at a time. From that day forward, quitting stopped being an option. With Maya's success story, I built momentum. It was small at first. One creator became 3, 3 became 10. Every time a client left a review, I screenshot it and pinned it to my wall like a victory flag. Each new sign-up felt like proof that maybe I wasn't crazy after all. Soon, more creators joined, illustrators, woodworkers, jewelry makers, photographers. Then came more clients, small businesses, boutique brands, people tired of faceless corporations. CraftLink started to feel alive, like something breathing on its own. For the first time in months, I woke up excited instead of anxious. But momentum doesn't erase struggle. It just makes it quieter. I was still broke, still living on instant noodles and stubbornness. Every server crash felt like the universe testing how badly I wanted this. Then, one afternoon, I got an email that made my hands shake. A major design firm, one of the same people who once ignored my calls, wanted to meet. Their message was short and polite. We are impressed by what you're building. We'd like to discuss acquisition. At the meeting, they offered me $50,000 in cash for the entire startup. No more ramen. No more stress. Just walk away. For a few minutes, I seriously thought about it. I imagined paying my debts, sleeping peacefully, calling my mom to tell her I'd made it. But then I looked at the contract and saw what they were really buying. They didn't want CraftLink. They wanted to bury it. Because if a small independent platform could connect creators directly to clients, what would happen to the middlemen, the very people who had always controlled the industry? And that's when it hit me. If they wanted to buy it, that meant it had value. So I said no. I walked out of that meeting terrified but lighter, like I'd just chosen faith over comfort. Instead, I turned rejection into fuel. I reached out to local business owners, community leaders, and small investors, people who believed in local talent. I didn't raise millions. I raised enough. Enough to upgrade the servers, redesign the interface, and start real marketing. Every step forward came with a price. Success, I learned, doesn't arrive, it demands. And it demanded everything. Friends who used to hang out every weekend stopped calling. Family dinners turned into arguments. You're obsessed, they said. You're losing yourself in this thing. Maybe I was. Because when you're chasing a dream, obsession is just another word for commitment. I lost sleep. I lost peace. But every time someone laughed, I didn't hear mockery. I heard opportunity knocking. And I answered. Then the shift began. The same bosses who once said you'll come crawling back started checking in. Old coworkers sent texts like, "Hey man, so your site on LinkedIn looks awesome. Let's catch up sometime." They used to laugh. Now, they wanted to learn. And for the first time, I didn't feel bitter. I just smiled. Because I realized I wasn't chasing validation anymore. I was chasing vision. And vision doesn't ask for permission. That was the turning point. When failure stopped being a threat and became the teacher that changed everything. 18 months later, everything changed. What started as a side project, built in a tiny apartment with second-hand furniture and flickering lights, had turned into something real. It didn't happen overnight. It happened one stubborn sunrise at a time. I still remember the first big milestone. A small feature on a local business blog. Just a few paragraphs about a young founder bridging the gap between creativity and commerce. It didn't feel like much, but within hours, the sign-ups doubled. By the end of the week, CraftLink was buzzing. Creators who'd never met each other were suddenly collaborating across cities, selling their work, finding clients, building confidence. And for the first time, I saw what it meant to build not just a product, but a movement. Then came the big one. A national tech outlet picked up the story. They called CraftLink the digital heartbeat of local creators. That headline changed everything. Emails started pouring in. Partnerships, investors, influencers, even journalists who once ignored me now asking for interviews. Our social media blew up. The traffic crashed the servers, again, but this time, I laughed. Because for once, it wasn't failure. It was growth. Within 2 years, we had over 100,000 active users. Real revenue. Real teams. Real stories of people earning a living from their passion. CraftLink was no longer a punchline. It was proof that belief, when paired with relentless work, can rewrite your destiny. But then came the full circle moment. The one that every dreamer secretly imagines but never expects. My old boss, the same man who once told me I'd never survive outside the system, reached out. His email was short, polite, professional. "Ryan, we've been following CraftLink's growth. We'd love to explore collaboration, maybe even acquisition opportunities." I read it 3 times, not because I didn't believe it, but because it felt surreal. I stared at the screen, remembering the grey cubicle, the fluorescent lights, the slow death in a tie. I remembered walking out with nothing but a laptop and a dream everyone thought was delusion. Then, I typed my reply. "Thank you for your interest. Unfortunately, we're not currently looking to sell." And I hit send. No anger. No revenge. Just peace. Because that's the truth about success. It's not about proving people wrong. It's about proving to yourself that you were right to believe. And that's when I realized, the best way to answer doubt isn't through argument, or applause, or even revenge. It's through results. Results that speak in silence. Results that turn laughter into respect. Results that make even the ones who doubted you beg to be part of your story. That was the breakthrough. The moment I stopped chasing validation and started building legacy. Now, people call me lucky. They see the polished version, the brand, the team, the office that glows at night like success itself. They see interviews, features, smiling photos on magazine covers. They see the applause. But what they don't see are the nights I cried quietly on a borrowed couch, wondering how rent would get paid. The mornings when I stared at a screen full of rejection emails and still opened a new tab to start again. They don't see the meals I skipped to afford domain renewals, or the birthdays I missed chasing a dream nobody else believed in. They don't see the fear, that whisper in the dark that says, "What if they were right about you?" And the way I had to answer it, not once, not twice, but every single day. With action. They call me lucky now. But luck doesn't stay awake until 3 a.m. fixing broken code. Luck doesn't sacrifice comfort, ego, or relationships to build something from nothing. Luck doesn't get laughed at and still show up the next morning with the same fire. No, this wasn't luck. This was persistence disguised as madness. And madness refined by time becomes vision. You see, people love a success story, but they rarely stay for the struggle. They cheer for you after the victory, but not during the war. When I started, no one asked how I was doing. Now, they ask how I did it. And the answer is painfully simple. I refused to stop. Every failure was a brick. Every insult, fuel. Every no became a map to a better yes. Because if there's one thing this journey taught me, it's this. The world doesn't owe you belief. You earn it. You build it one sleepless night, one painful sacrifice, one small victory at a time. And when you finally get there, when your name is mentioned in rooms that once ignored you, you'll realize something profound. You were never chasing their validation. You were chasing your potential. So to anyone watching this, the dreamers, the doubters, the quiet fighters, listen carefully. If you've been laughed at, overlooked, told to be realistic, good. That means you're daring to live a life they're too afraid to try for. Let them laugh. Let them doubt. Because one day, those same voices will call you lucky. They'll rewrite your story to make sense of what they never understood. That belief isn't a gift. It's a decision. So keep building. Keep showing up. Keep failing forward. And when they finally come knocking, when the people who once dismissed you come asking for advice, partnerships, or opportunities, smile. Stay kind. But remember, they laughed at your startup. Now they beg. If this story moved you, if you've ever felt underestimated or dismissed, subscribe to the Emotion Room. Because here, we tell the stories that remind you what pain can become when you refuse to give up. Hit the like button if you've ever turned doubt into drive. And tell me in the comments, what dream are you fighting for right now?